Hello, this is John Paval with Access Arts Live, bringing you the highlights of this upcoming weekend in terms of which are the best live streams to view. There are so many live streams going on this time of year, both orchestral, sometimes operatic, chamber music, organ recitals, that it's no longer possible for me to go through all of them at the end of the day on Friday. And describe all of them. There's just too many. I'd be online for far longer than most viewers could tolerate watching me. So what we'll do is we'll go over some of the highlights of this weekend, and I'll give you my suggestions as to what I think will be the best live streams to tune into. If you have the time and the interest. And I'll tell you a little bit about those more than the others, but I will also discuss the others a little bit. Now, before I go any further, let me remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, like the video. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe by clicking on our icon in the lower right-hand corner of the screen at the end of the video. And if you're watching us on our other 4 platforms, please don't just like the video, and we're happy when you do, but like us, that is, follow or subscribe to Access Arts Live on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Threads, and we will continue to provide you with live links to more than 1,000 live performances online in 2025. Now, let's start talking about what's going on this weekend, and we'll do it by categories, I think. We'll start out, let's talk about, well, first of all, I want to mention that there's only one opera going on this weekend, and we will do a special live stream tomorrow, Saturday, to tell you about it. It's on Sunday. It's Vivaldi's Serenade of Love, which is being live streamed by the Opera Streaming Group down in Italy. They represent a group of about 6 different opera companies, and they do the live streaming for free, and every month or 6 weeks or so, there's another one coming from a different theater. And this time it'll be Sunday at 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock European time, 10 in the morning on the East Coast, 7 in the morning on the West Coast, and 1 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. We'll put that in the commentary description of this live stream, but I will give you a fuller workup of who's singing what and all of that, and talk more about this opera tomorrow, Saturday. But we're very happy that there's opera streaming and there's Opera Vision, which live stream operas free of charge, although Opera Vision also gets lost very often in trying to tell you that we're going to Dusseldorf this Friday, but they're not. They're just showing a recording. You know, you're only going someplace if there's a live stream happening and you're going there. Anyway, let's go on to orchestral works. Now, there's an awful lot of orchestral live streams going on. I mean, already tonight, going down the list, starting at 8 o'clock European time, which will be 3 in the afternoon on the East Coast and noon on the West Coast, the Gulbenkian Orchestra is playing Schoenberg's Pelléas and Melisande and Zemlinsky's The Mermaid. Zemlinsky was sort of a mentor to Schoenberg, and both of these pieces are based on sort of fairy tale stories. Then, and the Gulbenkian is an excellent orchestra, but at the same time, the Frankfurt Radio Symphony has Maurice Steger, who's considered, some people consider him the greatest recorder player in the world, playing and conducting all 6 of Bach's Brandenburg concertos. Well, if you're a Bach fan, how can you turn that down? But at the same time, also at this 8 o'clock in the evening European time, Christian Masleru is conducting the Köln Philharmonic in Schumann and Brahms. And he's quite an expert composer whom the Cincinnati Symphony in the U.S. is very lucky to be getting to be their AD and chief conductor next year. But that's not all, because there's also Alan Gilbert, the dynamo with the Hamburg Elb Philharmonic, is conducting Richard Strauss Ein Heldenlied. And he's the kind of conductor who can really wring out of an orchestra everything you want for a piece like that. So and that's just Friday night. Then Saturday night, there's the Tomsk Phil. Now, those are the first four things going on Friday night. But following up then is what I would say is the top orchestral live stream this weekend. And that's the Sao Paolo Symphony, also known as OSESP, on YouTube. Let me put up a picture to go with this. I have to get to the right folder for it. Weekend highlights folder. Set this up so I can see these pictures. Sorry, we're a little bit improvising today with this new format. This, I think, is the top live stream for this weekend. It's Sonia Rubinsky. Sonia Rubinsky was born in Brazil many years ago. She's quite old by now. And still going strong, but these top artists who've been around for decades, they're not with us forever. People like Daniel Barenboim and Martha Argerich, they also came from South America. They're from Argentina. They're just not going to be with us forever. We don't know how much longer. Anyway, so this is Sonia Rubinsky, who was born in Brazil, but she went to Israel when she was very young. And there was a famous, and she had a famous encounter with Rubinstein when she was only 12 years old, and she kind of knocked his socks off, and it was onwards and upwards from there. Now, of course, her parents were, her mother was Brazilian, was Polish, and her father was Lithuanian. But anyway, once she went to study at the Rubin Academy in Jerusalem, she basically has lived as an Israeli, if I understand it correctly. She, among other things, she's done a lot of recordings in a long, illustrious career. But one of the things she's done is record the complete piano works by Villa Lobos. And what's she playing tonight, Friday, March 28th, with the Sao Paolo Symphony in Sao Paulo, Brazil? In her homeland, Villa Lobos' Piano Concerto No. 5. So composed sort of around the time she was born, composed in 1954. They'll also be doing a piece called Curupira, or a piece, O Guardio da Natureza, which is a world premiere. They'll be doing a piece by Buni called Mea Lagrima, based on a poem by Conceição Evaristo, which was composed in 2019. You have two very contemporary pieces. And then they'll do Rachmaninoff's Symphonic Dances, Opus 45, which is sort of mid-20th century, 1940. So they jump from the mid-20th century to now in this concert. And it's, I've got to believe there's great emotion for Sonia Rubinsky whenever she's returning to the land of her birth. She's playing, she's a top pianist playing a composer whose works she has completely recorded. So to me, I don't see how you get better than that this weekend. There are other, after Friday, there are other interesting concerts. Saturday night, I would say the runner-up, if there was a second concert that would be important, if I can dig up the photograph for you in a moment. Right now, we're having technical difficulties again. Restream. We're having a frozen screen, and I cannot tell whether we are getting through to anybody or not in this moment. So I hope we're getting through to you online. There you go. There's this other concert, which I think is also a fascinating concert. It's on Saturday night. It's a French horn concert, French horn concerto. You don't hear that many. Tomsk Philharmonic is live streaming works of Reinhold Moritzeich Glière and Ravel Saturday night, March 29th at 7 o'clock KRAT time. That's out in Siberia, 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Europe, 7 in the morning on the East Coast, and 11 o'clock at night on down under in Australia. This is the conductor is Igor Berendeyev, who regularly conducts the Tomsk Philharmonic. He's from Moscow. And the French horn player is Zakhar Nikiforov, who's been the principal French hornist with that orchestra since 2015 or maybe longer. And they'll be doing Glière's Concerto for French Horn and Orchestra. And then they'll be doing by Ravel, they'll be doing Bolero, Waltz, and Spanish Rhapsody. So I think that will be a fun program. Now, you may not know who Glière is. He's got a French name, but he was born in Kiev in Ukraine back in the late 1800s and died in the 1950s in Moscow, 1956. He's of German and Polish descent, even though his name sounds French. And he went from Ukraine to Moscow to study at the conservatory, and then the revolution happened. And he ended up teaching at the Kiev Conservatory and having very high status in the Soviet world after the revolution. He directed the committees of the Moscow Union of Composers and the Union of Soviet Composers, etc. So he was successful under communist times, and I doubt you have heard of him or know of his French horn concerto. So it would be a double discovery. But I still think that concert with Rubinsky is the top one. And there's further. The Detroit Symphony Orchestra will be live streaming Saturday night at 8 o'clock Eastern European time. That's the dynamic Yadar Bignameni conducting Saint-Saëns and Brahms. But it's not clear to me who the pianist is. They list two different pianists at different times. But Bignameni is always great working with soloists. So, you know, that's my reading. If you're looking for a great orchestral live stream, I'd say go for the Sao Paolo Orchestra on Friday night. And as a backup, I would say it would be the Tomsk Phil, which is Saturday afternoon or early in the morning for those in the U.S. So then we move on to, well, what would be the best of the chamber music concerts this weekend? Well, you've got March Vivo, Songs of Life and Death from Latin America on Saturday noontime in Europe. You've got the Leon Coro Quartet, 7:30 in the evening Eastern Daylight Time, playing at 92 New York. Playing, and they're a very hot group. They're about 5 years old. They were formed in Germany 5-6 years ago and started winning awards right away. Sunday at noon, March Vivo is back with the young bass baritone Javier Blanco singing period pieces along with the harpsichord player. And then Sunday evening, Eastern Daylight Time, the 13 Choir, it's a very interesting choir, is playing the 4 early masses, which Bach composed. And also in that mix too, I should mention Saturday night on the West Coast, the Harmonia Orchestra and Chorus is playing Bach's Mass in B minor. So you've got two, if you really want to, you can hear Bach's Mass in B minor on Saturday night live stream. That's a $10 fee. Or you can hear the 13 or you can hear the 13 sing Bach's early masses Sunday evening, but that will cost you $43. That's not a cheap ticket. So which of these do I think is your best bet? Well, taking into consideration that I'm cheap and I like to get it free if possible, I think the best selection out of those is the March Vivo at noon on Saturday with this singer here, Carmen Artaza, who is a noted Spanish mezzo, an award-winning mezzo. This will be she has Ruben Fernandez Aguirre accompanying her, and he specializes in being an accompanist. which always helps the singer, and a long-time well-known Spanish actor, Daniel Freire, will be reading texts by Angeles Mastretta, Juan Bosch, and William Ospina. So it's a combined thing, and they'll be doing Carlos Guastavino's Argentine Flowers. They'll be doing a selection from Villa Lobos' Amazon Forest. They'll be doing 6 melodies, a selection of the 6 melodies by Maria Teresa Prieto, and a couple of songs by Jaime Leon. And this is the second or third of this series called Songs of Life and Death from Latin America, and I just think it'll be lovely, and it's free of charge. So now there's another one other chamber music live stream I want to tell you about before we move on to what's the best organ recital. Sunday, March 30th at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Vox Novus is live streaming Sanctuary Sounds, a concert of glimpses into the lives of classical composers with music. This is a series that Vox Novus is going to be live streaming each month, I believe. I've been exchanging with Robert Voissy there, who's a great guy, and we're talking about having him in to do a dialogue, a live stream dialogue, to talk about Vox Novus's ambitious plans for live streaming in the future. This is violinist Laurel Gagnon and pianist Marina Iwao. Laurel is studying at the Yale School of Music, but she's already been a prize winner at the Singapore International Violin Competition. Marina Iwao is a pianist who's, while playing with other groups, has played at places like Carnegie Hall and the Merkin Concert Hall. And she's also a member of a group called Random Access Music, which specializes in premiering compositions by living composers. And the whole point of this concert series is to also weave into the concert evening the human stories that are woven into the music of the composers whose music they'll be playing. And they'll be playing Mozart's Sonata for Violin and Piano in B-flat major, Gershwin's selections from Porgy and Bess as arranged by Heifetz, Samuel Coleridge Taylor's Suite for Violin and Piano, Opus 3, and Richard Strauss's Sonata for Violin and Piano in E-flat major, Opus 18. That's free of charge. It's on YouTube, and we will give you the link to that. Okay, so now we move on. Oh, wait, before I do that, I do want to show you the photos. I screwed that up. I didn't show you the photos soon enough, but here are the photos of Laurel Gagnon and Marina Iwao. So they're young, ambitious, and dedicated to doing, this series is dedicated to sort of doing a theatricalized concert or recital. And I've done many of those myself, specifically with respect to American art songs and Aaron Copland's old American songs and things like that, where you mix in stories and provide the context for what you're singing about. I think it makes for a lovely evening. So then we move on finally to, well, what about organ recitals, John? Well, there's Canon Martin Green will be playing the weekly St. Paul's Episcopal Cathedral live stream organ recital tonight. 1 o'clock today, Friday, March 28th at 1 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, which is 4 o'clock on the East Coast and 9 in the evening in Europe. Saturday, Art Bene is live streaming Alexei Parshin, who is an expert organist and professor of organ in Russia, playing in honor of Bach's 340th anniversary, playing Bach's music. The concert is called Soli Deo Gloria, to God alone be the glory, but we don't know what he's playing. And then the masterful Baptiste-Florian Marle-Ouvrard at St. Eustache Church, where he's a resident organist, will be playing Couperin's Messe pour les Paroisses. That will be Sunday, March 30th at 5 in the afternoon, 10 in the morning on the East Coast, and 7 in the morning on the West Coast. And if you ask me, that's your best bet for an organ recital live stream this weekend. Why? Well, it's not that the Bach concert is not tempting at all, but it's that the organ at St. Eustache Church, along with the mastery of Baptiste-Florian Marle-Ouvrard, just makes for an excellent and high quality live stream. And we know what he's playing. He's playing the Messe pour les paroisses, the Mass for the parishes, by Couperin, which is an excellent piece to be playing. So it's and he's the kind of French organist who knows this kind of French tradition music. So he'll be able to do a great job of it on a great organ. And that organ has 7,952 pipes, 101 stops. And 5 manual console, 2 5-manual consoles. We also, on our YouTube channel, you can find an interview that I did with Thomas Hospital, who's the other resident organist at St. Eustache Church, and find out all the secrets and all the interesting things that you might want to know about this magnificent organ, which is the equal of the one at Notre Dame. And before I leave you, I can show you again late in the game. Here is this organist whose mastery I do admire, Baptiste-Florian Marle-Ouvrard. And here is the image of we can show you the organ console and the facade of the organ pipework. That's what we have for you this weekend in terms of what I think are the best live streams to check out. But we have started now each morning putting out a daily list of the day's live streams. I will continue doing that. So Saturday morning European time, we will put out the list of all of the live streams going on Saturday. And Sunday, we will do the same thing for the live streams on Sunday. So you'll be able to follow up from whether or not you're following my recommendations or not to decide which live streams you'd like to tune in this weekend. I will remind you again, as ever, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to Access Arts Live on YouTube. And the same thing is true on our 4 other platforms. We love it when you like our videos, but we'd love it even more if you would follow or subscribe to us on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Threads. And in return, we will continue to provide you with live links to more than 1,000 live performances here in 2025. Ciao for now. Have a great weekend, and I hope one more, or any of these live streams inspires you, uplifts you, or just shows you a heck of a good time. Ciao for now. Bon weekend.